excited to bring in Cristal. Hi, Cristal.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. So let's start by just telling us a little bit about who you are, so everyone can get to know you, your background, your career, kind of where you're at right now.
Okay, sure. Well, first of all, I'm super excited to be here. This is one of my favorite groups and brands, and so I'm excited to talk a little bit more about it.
Thank
I'm
you.
Cristal Finley. Yeah, of course. I'm Cristal Finley, and I am just getting ready to launch a new blog and business right now. And it's called Hers for the Taking. And it's basically a brand new brand that just came up in the last few weeks. And so I'm very excited about it. Professionally, so I do still work full time. Professionally, I have a background in finance. And for this blog, I just wanted to focus on personal development and career. So it'll really be kind of niche down to goal setting, personal branding, career, of course, and productivity.
Awesome. That's my background too, finance, switched to all this more fun personal development stuff too.
Yeah, that was something I really resonated with when I had found Classy Career Girl. Just some of the things that you talked about with your background, I felt a lot of the same stuff. So I was excited to find you.
Awesome. So what were some of the problems and challenges in the beginning then when you were trying to build this?
Oh my gosh. So where to begin?
Like all of them? There's too many to say.
It can be confusing, of course. And for me, it was very, very confusing. So I guess the first one that really comes to mind is just not even knowing what I wanted my focus to be. So when it comes to, I will back up a little bit and say I had a previous blog and it was kind of in every single direction possible. And I wasn't really talking to one person or even a group of people. I was trying to hit men and women and all these different areas. And as you know, and you've mentioned plenty of times, when you do that, you're kind of talking to nobody. So that was part of the challenge. And so when I started class, it was just, I think that followed me. And I just didn't even know, okay, I knew I wanted to build a business, but what did I want it to focus on at all? I mean, I had no idea. So that was the first challenge. I think the other challenge would be still working full time, just getting that commitment and consistency down and making the time to work on my own goals was a challenge. And so I needed to make some shifts there. Like I said, yeah, it was kind of everything.
How did you find the time? So that I think that's one of the biggest challenges because you're in, is it phase 2?
Yes, phase 2.
Phase 2. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when do you do the work? Like when do you go through the videos and take action with your goals?
Yeah. So I started to just build it into, I guess, the little pockets of time I have throughout the day. So I do have a different job than I had when I started. But with my old job, I used to have this kind of longer commute. So I would be on the train or the bus and I would just start the videos there. I would print out, I'm looking at my binder now. I have all of the printouts of the different lessons in class, and I would just go through those throughout the day. So sometimes it would be on my way into work or maybe during lunch and then on my way back home. So I just had to start finding ways to fit it in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just have to do it. If it's important to you, right? Like you have that goal. And I love that you said too that because I think there's a lot of people listening that want to start a business but don't know what they should do. So they end up not doing anything, right? Because that can just keep you stuck. So how did you get over that, of taking that first step?
Mm-hmm. I think at first, just with going through the lessons, I do want to say there is no pressure in class to move through them quickly, but I put that pressure on myself. So when I first started out, I thought, okay, I need to get through this as quick as possible. I want a business. I need to figure this out. And that's where I kind of got stuck, because when you don't know what your next move is or even what your focus is, how can you keep going through the different lessons? So I had to realize that and kind of take ownership of that and be willing to slow down and do any extra research I needed to do for myself, or pop into the group and kind of get inspiration or motivation from some of the other members, just all of those different things, and spend the time that I needed on each lesson. And at this point, I mean, when I first started out, it was the old brand that I was working with, not this new one and hers for the taking. So I actually had to go back and redo some of the phases, because I can't move forward when I really didn't have a good direction to begin with.
I love that. Yeah, it's important to go back. A lot of members say that they get to phase 2 or 3 and they start all over too, just to get the foundation and refresh themselves too when they get stuck.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that. I do the same thing too. I've done a whole rebrand over this last year too. So I think I went back to the very beginning as well. So how did you learn about Classy Career Girl? Like, where did you first find out about us?
Mm-hmm. So, gosh, that's a tough question. I think I've been following, I'm going to say at least a couple of years. And I know I do listen to the podcast, so I do that. I know I was in the like the main group that you run. I think that's might have been where I started off first, and then it just kind of spread from there as I got more familiar with you and the brand, and just the ladies who are a part of this group in general. I just started doing the workbooks and getting on videos like this and starting to get more familiar with it. And I felt over time like I had found my community.
Yay. I love that. I love seeing all your posts and your wins. We'll get to all your wins, but what did you think, like, when you first started? Like, what was like the first step that you did?
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I think when I first started, I remember, so I'm someone that, I don't know, I just kind of have to jump into it, because if I think about it too long, I will sit there and just keep running through it in my head. So I remember when it came to this, I was on a video. I'm getting information about class and the membership opening up. And I kind of just remember this feeling of like, you just need to do it. You're stuck. You don't know where to go. You feel like this community is a good fit. Like, just jump in and do it. So I was probably on my phone, like, should I do it? Should I not? So it was excitement, nervousness, but I knew it's what I needed to do. So I jumped straight in, and I remember just as soon as I kind of got through the doors, it was just exciting to feel like, okay, there's a path for me. All I need to do is just jump right in, and that's what I did. So I want to say it was just maybe even the next day, I kind of just jumped straight into the phases.
Good for you. And when was this?
So this would have been, let's see, maybe end of December or beginning of January.
Okay.
in that area.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you were officially in all the new class membership when you started. Awesome. So, like so you talked about like what your first step was. Like, was there like a commitment you feel like you had to make, or it was basically when you clicked that button, like that was your commitment?
Yeah, I think it was hitting that button. I mean, for me, that's always a hard decision with almost anything. I am, so one of the things that I appreciated seeing in class is the discussion around StrengthsFinder. So that's something that I love, and something I kind of dove into maybe a year or two ago, got super deep into it. But for me, a couple of my strengths are deliberation, analytical, focus. So I can get stuck in all three of those very easily. But I had to know that about myself, so in order to move forward.
Yeah, I have focus too, and everyone thinks it's great, but it also, if you can get focused on negative things too, right? And like unable to like move, but it's
Yes,
great if you're focused on a positive thing, right?
exactly. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I love learning about that too. So what do you think would have happened if you would have continued along the same path?
Oh, what I was on.
Yeah.
Uh, I think at that point, so I will say the blog that I used to have, I had taken it down and was paying someone to redo it at that point in time. And when it
Okay.
came to that, I just never opened it back up. And I think it's because I didn't really know what to do. So I think if I had stayed on that path, I might have been longing to get back into it, longing to actually make this happen. But I'm guessing I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah. Definitely. You would have kind of maybe just left it.
Yeah, I think it was taken down maybe the end of September. And so by
Okay.
the time I had found class, it was already down for a couple of months at that point. So I don't know if it would have ever come back up again.
Yeah. So tell us about this, the results and kind of like what changes for the good have happened in your life since you joined us in December.
Yeah. So learned tons. There was one thing.
There's a
So
lot to learn.
there is. There was one thing I really wanted to highlight, though. So I don't remember exactly what phase it was in. I know my guess is probably zero or like right in the beginning. Um, but it had to do with organization. And you were mentioning in the lesson about basically the things that we tolerate in our life that can also just, I don't know, hold us back, I guess. And so for me, this one was super eye-opening. It hit home because I think that was exactly what I needed to see in the beginning, because there's things that I was tolerating at the time, like
Mm,
um, piles of paper all over my desk, just simple things like
yep.
that I just never took care of, but it bugs me every day. So for me, moving into class and seeing that one early on, I think I took a whole week and I just took that time to step back and kind of get these little things in my own life in order before trying to move forward, which was helpful.
Mm,
And I did that again when this whole pandemic thing started too, because everything changed when you're at home all of the time now. So it was nice to just take that time and step back and start getting those things in order, especially now that this new brand and website is getting ready to launch. So that
yeah.
was the first huge thing for me. And then I think too, I think going through just sorry, I'm trying to think of all the different phases and lessons now. But I think just going
I
through
hear
it,
you.
yeah, I think the very big thing has been one part that I'm so proud about is being able to build, I call it like a brand board, basically. So learning how to, through the different phases and lessons, learning how to do competitor research, learning how to kind of build that ideal customer profile. Those are things I didn't know how to do. Um, so not knowing how to do that, it also impacts what your brand is and what your message is. So now, having gone through all of those steps, I now have this board in my office that's hung up on the wall, and I just got everything condensed down to, I think it's maybe like three pages or maybe four, and it just quickly tells me, here's the problems that you're solving. I know what my brand elements are. I know who I'm helping, and it's just super easy for me to look up and see that. So that's been huge for me. It's something I didn't
Yeah.
have before.
You have that clarity. I can tell, with this relaunch of your brand, you're really clear on what the messaging is going to be too. And
Yeah.
I remember in the beginning you did the monthly challenge. So every month we have a challenge, an implementation challenge in class. And I remember you doing the Instagram challenge. How was that?
I loved it. For me, I am not very good with social media, I guess. Growing up in that phase of having social media around all of the time, I don't know if everyone realizes that it's completely different when you're doing it for a business or trying to grow and gain followers. So just how you approach it, how you use it is completely different. So that was something I really needed to learn. And your challenge came at a really good time for that, because one thing you mentioned in there that's sticking out was that kind of competitor research again. I had no idea how to do any of that. It's something I never thought about doing. I had no idea how to put together even what my little about me blurb at the top should say. There were just so
Mm-hmm.
many things I didn't know.
Yeah. And one of the other things too, I wanted to talk about, because you're in finance, and I know one of the things that may have held you back when you started was I can't afford it too. So tell us, with all
Mhm.
your financial background, like how did you clicked the button? How did you get over that? And has that been kind of just a good thing that you're happy you invested in?
Mhm. Yeah, so definitely something that always comes up. Probably one of the first things that comes up for me. And for me, it was just, I think that knowledge that I needed to just get on some kind of path and move forward. That was the first thing that kind of helped me move that barrier out of the way a little bit. Um, I've also been focusing the last few months on, I guess, having a better money mindset too. And when it comes to growing a business or even growing as a leader, making that kind of tweak in my head to start making decisions that I would want my future self to be making. And because I mean, I can stay scared and nervous or fearful that this isn't going to work, all those things. But I really needed to focus on who I needed to be in order to move forward and who that person was, what kind of decisions she would make. So for me, joining class was a part of that. And that made it easier to be able to just look past the financial part of it. And I think to having it be a monthly membership just worked better for me financially.
Mm-hmm.
It's something at the time that I was able to do. Months ago, I wasn't able to just put out all of the money for a complete program. So that's something that was also part of the decision making process, I think, just last year. And that's something that helped keep me stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, and now, I mean, it is a monthly membership and you do get the complete program. So it's kind of like the
Mhm.
best of all worlds too. But I totally can relate to like making those decisions that the future CEO will want to be making for you too. You know,
Mhm.
if you're not a business owner yet, thinking of yourself, like where you want to be and making decisions based off where you want to go in the future.
Mhm.
That's really good. So Cristal, where can everyone find you online?
Yeah. So I am on Instagram or Facebook. The handle is X Miss Cristal, Cristal, and there's another X at the end. The new blog and website will be opening up officially on June 15th. So
Nice.
right now we just have a landing page out, but it's hersforthetaking.com. And we have a new freebie that I just loaded up, gosh, over the weekend. And it's all about getting the first steps to building your personal brand.
Awesome. We'll make sure you share that in our Facebook group so we can celebrate that win. That's awesome. I know
Yes,
how
I've
big
been
of
excited
a
too.
it is to do a website relaunch. Like that is not easy. So good
Mhm.
for you. Awesome, Cristal. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing all of your story and experiences and successes with us. I know it helped inspire other people too. So thank you.
Great. Thank you and have a good
Okay.
day.
Thank you.